Welcome back to Celtic State of Mind. It's half time in the Alliance Arena. It is Bayern nil, Celtic nil. I think three distinct elements in that first half, Sean. I want to talk about the defensive display that we've seen from Celtic. Then I think we'll move on to our chance creation, and then finally our clinicality in that half. But I mean, I think all three elements we can talk about. Defensively, that's as good as I've seen in the Champions League this season for the most part. Albeit there was a scare at the end there with Harry Kane hitting the bar, but that we look well drilled tonight, don't we?
Yeah, we're playing. It appears to be very much the same tactics as we had last week in the second half. Just a little bit less, chasing the game in the sense. But we're defending. We're getting back and defending well, and when we do trigger the press, we're catching them. We've caught them and try to come play it from the back and won the ball quite a few times from that. And we're doing it well as a team as well. Like there's one point just 10 minutes before the end there where Maeda triggers the press on the centre back and we win possession back. And then fair enough, we do lose it after two touches, but what's noticeable is that Johnston and Carter Vickers have both committed to the press as well. So even though we do lose it, like we're even stopping the counter-attack because Carter Vickers is basically committing a foul in the other half, that's even though we're not expecting Carter Vickers to contribute to that win back of that possession in an attacking sense, what he's done by joining that press is he's preventing the counter-attack as well. So we have defended well as a team, not just in and around the box, but all across the pitch. But yeah, when you think about that Kimmich chance where he's about 16 yards out, and he can't even see the goal. So there is times as well where, I think it was, I can't remember who it was, Oliseh maybe, got the space out wide at that point. I'm going to presume it was Oliseh because he's just an unbelievable player. And at that point, even though we've not been deep beforehand, when Oliseh does get in behind and he does get the cut back to Kimmich, there's just a wall of green in front of him when he does get that. So we're defending everywhere, not just in around the box. We're defending excellently all across the pitch.
Absolutely, no, I would certainly agree with that. I think that left hand side initially in the early stages looked as though it could have been a vulnerable area for us. But I think as the game wore on, Schlupp and Jota they've combined well. They've looked. They've been under pressure because a lot of Bayern's play has been going down that side, Kev. But they've soaked it up quite well, and actually we have limited Bayern to just a few chances. Speaking of chances, the chances for us have been few and far between, but by God, they've been good chances, haven't they, Kev?
They have, and I don't know, few and far between is the right way to put it in one sense, because we could quite easily be sitting here discussing 4 Celtic goals at half time because we've had 4 very good chances, it's probably more than we would have expected to have over the course of the 90 minutes. And it's all down to kind of what Sean was saying in his summary, which I thought was excellent of that first 45 minutes, by the way. It is all down to the way that we've pressed them. We're forcing mistakes from them. The first one comes from Cal winning the ball on the halfway line because he's in. I'm not sure who it is he robs on the halfway, but he's in there to win the ball and he gets forward. And really, I'm expecting more from him when it comes to the finish. He kind of slices it and it goes wide at the near post. He's got to play that across goal. He could even have maybe squared it because Kuhn was coming in. He had that option. But that's come from us forcing the mistake. Then you've got the second one where Kuhn's got the effort cleared off the line, quickly followed by Engels putting the one across the 6-yard box, which Maeda almost gets a toe in the end of. If he does, that's a certain goal. Excuse me. And then the third one, probably, I'm going to call it the chance of the match, from our perspective, even although commentators weren't quite so sure in it. I think Maeda's got to score that one. He's either got to score that or show a bit more composure. Delay taking the shot and send Kuhn or Hatate in on either side of him. It's a brilliant opportunity. So that's 4 chances that we created within the first 20 minutes. So sure, maybe the final 25 minutes of the half, we weren't creating quite so many chances. Certainly not as clear cut as that, but as Sean's alluded to, there's 10 minutes before the end of the half where Maeda's triggered the press, we've won the ball back, we're maybe one pass away from getting in behind and creating another chance. So that whole opening 45 minutes for me has been absolutely excellent for us. And just saying before we come on, why am I looking so calm? It's because I've just watched that. I've watched this player really. I've watched this play a really professional first half. Bayern's got the ability to. Sorry, Sean.
No, sorry, carry on.
I was going to say Bayern's got the ability to pick us apart. I think almost at will when they want because they've got those players. But what we're doing so well is just being so compact that they're not getting the space to play through us through the middle like they want. And although we're maybe giving them space in the wings and in the inside channels and whatever, as soon as a cross comes in, we've got the bodies there to deal with it. I think we've defended really, really well. I had the similar worry to you, Chris, at the start when that ball out to the left is going, to the right, our left is going every time, and Elise is getting it, and he's getting it in space. And I was a little bit worried about Schlupp, whether he's up to it. It seems to me it's maybe a tactic, actually, that we're just going to play that narrow, that we'll give them the ball out wide, because we're just going to block the space when it gets in there. And it's very difficult for them to try and play through us. So defensively, we've been very solid. We have created chances when we've gone forward. And like I said, I can sit here quite calm because that first half gives me hope for the second, that if we can keep it going, which is a big, big ask because we are not used to playing at this level and this level of intensity for a full 90 minutes against this level of opponent. But if we can do it for the next 15 minutes, take it to the hour, you just never know. There's... God, it's the hope that kills you, is what they say, but I've got hope.
And listen, I think the hope is well earned. I think the team have given us something to really hope for. What I would say, Sean, and me and you did, we were pretty shattered at, as we joined the stream. Kev comes on, not hair out of place, no new grey hairs or any grey hairs for that matter in the beard. But I think
it's for men, mate, I'm telling you,
just for me, I'm going to get myself some. I definitely need to get some for the hair. But I think, Kevin's point is right. The way the team's played to a man, by the way, and I can't pick fault with any of our players tonight. I think, we could and should be more clinical with the chances being given, because you are not going to get that many chances at this level against a team of this calibre. But if we get them in the second half, we surely must take them. But talking about the individual players, who's stood out for you, Sean, so far in that first half? I think you could probably pick from the 11, but is there anyone in particular?
Look, if you want to be critical, it's hard, right? Like you could say maybe Kuhn makes a couple of shaky decisions. Hitati's the ball at the game's kind of passing him by a lot of the time. I think a lot of that's down to the position he's playing, but I don't think they're poor by any stretch of the imagination. But yeah, there's been some outstanding performances. I think Absolutely. For me, Engels has been best on pitch, both with and without the ball. He is. I don't know how he, as a 21-year-old that was basically signed as a playmaker, is essentially our best defensive player in midfield. He just is so underrated, the work he does off the ball. I think McGregor has been outstanding tonight. I think he defensively, he's picked it back up after he was kind of didn't do so well last week defensively or against Aston Villa, and he's on it tonight. And his possession game has been excellent as well. He's turning, passing, he's been very good. And I think apart from those two, who have really but have really been a big part of our performance tonight. I think Alistair Johnson has been.
I was going to say he was very close.
Defensively outstanding, and he's been getting up and down that line like a lot. But I think Alan Shearer. I think it's Alan Shearer I'm listening to on Amazon. At one point said nothing's come down. Everything's going down Bayern's right, and literally nothing's come down their left. I'm like, well, Alistair Johnson's been there. He's been cutting it out, and Engels has been helping him out there as well. Because, let's be honest, Bayern's best chances getting closest to goal have been to our back post at that side, and Johnson's cut them out. Because it's all I said, it's getting that space, getting the cutbacks, and players like Johnson were having to be getting on the end of cutting those out. So look, Bayern's best chance was probably that Kane chance right at the end. And you might say the players were starting to look leggy. Jota in particular, after 30 minutes, looked very tired. So
I noticed that as well.
Yeah, the stuff that he was doing really well in the first half hour, it was looking like he couldn't quite get it. He's in the last 15. So hopefully a little refresher for him. We get another good 10, 15 out of him, and I don't see him going much past the hour before we get fresh legs on. But yeah, Engels, AJ, Kalmak, the three outstanding ones, even though I think everyone gets pass marks so far.
Yeah, just going to bring in a couple of comments here. Soph Scots comes in, please, no game of two half Celtic. I would echo that. I think more of the same. Absolutely needed. Soph. Craig McMeekin comes in. Refreshing hearing English commentary gives Celtic the credit we deserve for a change. I think Shearer's been very complimentary, actually, on the Amazon feed. Been quite impressed with how he's been observing the way we're playing, which is great. Craig Pazikis comes in and says Jota for 10, then Ida. Could be, but I think what we did see from Jota in that first half, albeit in real flashes, Kev, is that he looks as though he's got the beating of, is it Statitis? I can't remember the chap's name. Stanisic, sorry, I beg your pardon. At the their right back, he looked to have the beating on him on a couple of occasions. One where he fashioned that fantastic chance for Kuhn, where he just couldn't quite get the ball out from under his feet. Real good opportunity, but you kind of think, well, there's an outlet there. I think there's an outlet there in both wings, and Maeda's doing his usual running. There are goals in this game, aren't there?
Well, I think there are, and I think the first 20 minutes proved that potentially we've got one of them in us. And I love following on from Sean, because I'm just going to say I like what Sean has said, because I will about Jota. I thought the first 30 minutes he was brilliant, and he was an outball for us. Every time he got it, he was looking like he was going to cause problems. He's created that chance in 16 minutes for Kuhn by some great trickery to get away from Stanisic. He's done him another couple of times. There's one maybe, I don't know, 5 minutes after, where he runs him down the line, and I wasn't sure if he had the pace to do it, but he's got away from him with pace. He's managed to beat him with a bit of skill and a trick as well. So in that first 30 minutes, he's definitely looked like he's got the boy on toast, as they say. He's got the beating of him. But again, his lack of football over the last 6 to 12 months is probably coming back a little bit. You could see that he was getting a bit leggy towards the end. But he was still putting in a shift. He was still looking for the ball. He was still willing to try and take his man on, get back and do a wee bit defensive work as well. So I think the break has come at the right time for us, for a couple of the boys in there that will go in and just take the weight off for 15 minutes, get a wee Lucozade or whatever it is they have these days, and hopefully come out refreshed. And as I say, if we can get a strong 15, 20 minutes at the start of the half, then that would stand us in really good stead. And that comment that is coming up there could be very important as well to the second half of Kane is being subbed off. So that could be a pivotal moment in the match as well. That said, I mean, they're probably going to bring on Leroy Sané or Kingsley Coman, so it's hardly a poor option. But from our side, I think if we have the belief, then in a strong 15, 20 minutes, we have a goal in us. We said at the weekend the first goal was going to be vital. Since we've got it to 0-0 at half-time, becomes doubly more the case. Because if Bayern get it, we've got a lot less chance of pulling it back. But if we get that far, and knowing how weak they were, I'm going to say at the weekend against Leverkusen, if we could get the first, I'll dream, and I'll say I wouldn't put it past us getting a second.
Yeah, and I think it's definitely an endorsement of how we've played. The fact that they're prepared to take Harry Kane off at half-time in a game that they are, we are still very much in, and they, I'm sure, are still very much planning and hoping to win. It looks as though it is Kingsley Coman coming on for Harry Kane. Sean, just a moment or two before we get to the second half. We came into the game, I think, with two objectives. There was hope that we could win it, but I think the real hope was that we wouldn't disgrace ourselves and we wouldn't, be on the end of another Dortmund-style hammering. I would say that, 50% of the objectives are absolutely achieved so far based on that first half, if we can just keep the levels in the second half as well. And now I think, many people are looking to say, how do we go in and win this? How can we do it, Sean?
Yeah, mate. I mean, anyone who was listening pre-match, I wasn't nervous because I'd accepted the fate that we were heading out. Well, now I'm nervous because it's actually we've now narrowed it down to where our chances have gone from 0.2% to about 2%. We're actually in with that not quite realistic chance, but almost. It's like the longer it goes at 0-0, the more chances we create, the more the hope builds up, and then that you get more nervous and. Yeah, so I'm nervous now, I'll admit. And hopefully maybe we can take it, maybe take a chance. I don't think we can say we've been the better team, but we've been great. And we're still in with it. Still in there, still in with a shout.
Absolutely. Well, the players are making their way back out onto the pitch. They're in the camouflage strip. They are dressed for battle. It is going to be a battling 45 minutes. I think the boys make a good point. Are we going to be able to keep up the same levels of intensity? Irrespective of how the second half turns out, we'll be back at full time. Hopefully, we'll be back and be super pleased at the result. But I think no matter what happens, we've seen enough to have a lot of pride in the team. They are absolutely outstanding so far today. So 45 minutes to go. Biggest 45 minutes of the season so far, lads. I think we'd probably say. We'll see you back here for full time. Thanks everybody for joining us on A Celtic State of Mind. One Hoops.
One Hoops.
Cheers.